Okay, let's look at the problem on slide 35. Given 256.1 grams of aluminum bromide, the formula for aluminum bromide is this, and we have 256.1 grams of the substance. How many moles do we have? Now remember, the molecular weight gives us a relationship between the moles and the mass in grams. So the molecular weight is the mass in grams divided by the n, the little n, the number of moles. So I have grams over moles. That is my molecular weight. That gives me a relationship between the two. So the first thing that I need to do when I'm given an amount in grams and I'm asked to figure out an amount in moles is have to figure out the molar mass of this compound. And now we're going to talk about molar masses and not atomic masses, because they're so small. We don't deal with atomic masses in everyday life. We deal with the larger scale. That's why we have the mole as a unit. So let's look at how we calculate. We calculate it the same way as we would the atomic mass, but let's do it for aluminum bromide. Okay, so if I were to look at the atoms that make up this molecule, I have aluminum and I have 3 bromines. So I have 1 aluminum and 3 bromines. Therefore, the mass, the molecular weight for aluminum bromide, but it will be 1 aluminum, so 1 aluminum plus 3 BRs, 3 bromines. 1 aluminum, if I look it up, weighs 26.98. So I have 1 times 26.98, and then I add that 3 times the bromine, which is 79.9. That is the mass of 1 bromine, but I have 3, so I have to multiply that by 3. This here gives me 26.98 plus this gives me 239.7. And if I add these together, I would get 266.9 or 0.68. Okay, this is grams. Now, what this tells me, what I just calculated, is that 1 mole, so 1 mole of aluminum bromide weighs 266.68 grams. Okay, that is my conversion unit. 1 mole of aluminum bromide weighs 266.68 grams. I know this to be true because I just calculated it. Let's convert the amount of grams that we have into moles. I have 2 ways that I'm going to show you, and pick the easiest way for you and do it that way. You can say 1 mole of aluminum bromide weighs 266.68 grams. What about 256.1 grams? How many moles will that be? Well, to calculate this, you cross multiply and set it equal to each other. So you multiply these two, 1 mole of aluminum bromide times 256.1, and then you set that equal to the other cross product, 266.68 grams times y. We'll call this y, this question mark. I don't know it. Okay, now, and this is in grams. Now I need to isolate y, so I divide both sides by 266.68 grams, and this is also 266.68 grams. My grams cancel, and here they cancel. Well, here the whole thing cancels. So Y is going to be 0.9603 moles of aluminum bromide. Okay, now stop and ask yourself, does my answer that I just found, does it make sense? Well, I know 1 mole weighs 266.7 grams. I don't have 266.7 grams. I have 256.1, which means that I will not have a full 1 mole. I have a little less in grams, which means my answer will be a little less than 1 mole, and it is. It's 0.9603. Now you can do the same thing, but a slightly different setup here, and I'll show you that as well. So I'll show you 2 ways to calculate it, and then you can pick out whichever makes more sense to you. I know some students learn one way and some the other. It's just a slightly different way to set it up. This is the way I was taught, the one I just show you, but I can figure out both. So let's just look at the other method. Start with the amount you're given. Never start with the conversion factors. Never start with that. Start with the amount that you're given. You are given 256.1 grams of aluminum bromide. And now use your conversion factor in form of a fraction, where you have the units organized in such a way to get rid of the units that you start with and then be left with the units you want on top. I want to convert this to moles. How many moles? So I want moles on top. Therefore, I know 1 mole equals that much. So 1 mole will go on top of aluminum bromide, weighs 266.68 grams of aluminum bromide. My grams here will cancel, and if you do the division, you should still get 0.9, what did I say, 603 moles of aluminum bromide. The same number, just a slightly different setup. It's up to you which one you want to use, but I wanted to show you both. Okay, I will erase this, and then we will work on the last slide.